Hey guys, I'm home today, isolating, sick as a dog, and what better time to get you some tips and tricks on working as a small business owner with your accountant. What I wanted to talk about is what are the best ways to just run your business so that you're getting the most out of the relationship with your accountant and not spending the money where it shouldn't be spent and actually using your funds wisely for to help grow your business better. So some of the tips that I have is as you're setting up and running your business, don't commingle accounts. Please, this is every accountant's worst nightmare. But use your business account for your business transactions. Anything that's not pertaining to this business should, for your personal sake, for to save you money, to find best tax savings for you, keep everything else separate. What I would highly recommend is if you need to use funds for anything that's not pertaining to the income or expenses of your business, pull the funds out, transfer them into your personal account, spend from there. What happens when you commingle is a few things happen. First of all, your accountant or your bookkeeper now has to go through all your transactions and try and figure out what's business, what's not. They can miss things. They can send you huge lists that you will then now have to spend time going through and identify what's business, what's not. It's not always easy to tell. What also can happen is if you're spending your company's, especially if something like your S Corp's funds to fund another business, that can pierce a corporate veil. And I'm not an attorney, but I know that in court, that may work against you because now you're exposing your other company since you're kind of operating as if they're one instead of keeping them legally separated. A good attorney can go after that and cause you tons of trouble. But on a day-to-day basis, it's just taking away your accounting money, your funds that you're spending to help account for in your business, and you're now using those funds to go through needless transactions trying to separate what's business from what's not, and it's just not a good use of your time or our time. So the other thing that I would recommend is if you have multiple cards or you have multiple loans, and you're paying the business cards and loans, but they're from the same bank. So, for example, you have several Amexes or something along those lines. What I would recommend that you do is when you're making payments to those Amexes, that you can make a note in your description which card it went to, which account it went to. That's just going to save your accountant a lot of time trying to match up and figure out which bank the payment went to. It's not a necessary thing, but it's just something that will make everybody's life easier. It will save you on accounting fees because we're not sitting there trying to match up. Let's say you made five $2,000 transactions, and some of them paid one card and some of them paid another, and you were paying from 3 different checking accounts to 2 different Amex accounts, and now you're trying to match and figure out which payment went where. It's just so much easier if you notate that. Or even easier, consolidate your accounts, have one checking, one Amex, one Visa, something along those lines, and that just makes everybody's life easier. Same thing if you have multiple vehicles and you're paying loans on, and they're going to the same issuer, same loan company, but for different loans. It just makes it easier if you were to notate which account that's going to. As you're making the payments, you can make a note, last 4 of the account number. Makes it so much easier for us. Let's see, what else did I think was really useful? Employees. So if you're making payments to your employees, make sure everything goes through your payroll software. So you're running a payroll, you enter it into the payroll software. Direct deposit is best. As an alternative, you can definitely cut a check for the net amount to your employee. Don't just write them a check and don't put it through the software, because that will create tons of issues down the road. Payroll issues is not something that you want to deal with. It can get very costly very fast as far as penalties, not to mention, again, accounting fees. But penalties, these are trust taxes. So if you run somebody's payroll outside of their payroll. You just issue them a check, and then the next thing you know, you didn't enter it into the system. Your payroll company entered in the transaction as if your payroll company entered in the reports to the government, basically as if that never happened, and then we have to correct it. Well, now you're looking at penalties for having to fix this and actually backdate it and say that this payroll actually happened 6 months ago, 3 months ago, and no, we didn't submit the payment on time, and now here's my amended filing with this additional information. So that's something else that I would recommend. And more importantly, don't misclassify your employees. So if you have somebody with whom you have an employee relationship, make sure that they are not treated as a contractor on your books. Know the difference between a subcontract or contract labor, and make sure if it is a bona fide contractor, you have a contract in place. That's why they call the contractor. Make sure that they're doing this work for others. Make sure that there's all the other contractor versus employee factors that are being met. And if you're not sure what those are, that's the subject of another video, or just reach out to your accountant and ask them what's the difference. They'll be more than happy to guide you, but don't just classify your bona fide employees as contractors to save on payroll taxes. That's a big no-no. All right. That's all I had for now. I hope you will use those tips to make your life easier, and by saving some accounting time on running these things correctly, you can focus those funds on planning for the coming year, on planning for tax savings. You can use that money for compliance and not for needless review and needless adjustments, backdating things, and paying penalties. All right, take care.